Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm gonna be going over some endomorph body type transformations. So let's get started. So when considering how to lose body fat, your body type certainly plays a role. And for those of my clients who are endomorphs, have a tendency to have the biggest struggle to lose body fat compared to mesomorphs and ectomorphs. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys literal examples of actual endomorph transformations and give you guys the context of the transformation, what they were doing, and just to show you some visuals of what you can expect. So this first example here is an endomorph transformation, and this is from our 6-week shred. This is a 42-day transformation, and this client is actually an apple-shaped endomorph. What this means is she stores more of her body fat concentrated in the torso. You can see from her shoulders to her hips, they're actually kind of along the same alignment. So it's not a typical endomorph where you see wider hips and a smaller waist. This is an apple-shaped endomorph. And when you turn and look to the side, you can see again that there is a higher concentration of visceral torso-based body fat in the before photos. Now in the after, you can see that she substantially lost a large portion of visceral fat as a result of her first 6 weeks on the shred, which is a 6-week program, but she was able to make substantial progress through nutrition alone. Now, granted, on the shred, I do recommend you work out at least 4 times a week, but the thing is, you guys, as an endomorph, dialing in your nutrition and getting in appropriate cardio is absolutely crucial to your success. Now, this next endomorph transformation is that of a more traditional pear-shaped endomorph. These progress photos have been over the course of at least, I'd say, about 6 months or so, maybe even slightly longer, of one of my clients. She's actually one of my online coaching clients, and she's now doing my VIP elite group. And the one thing I will say about her transformation, she is consistent, does not miss a workout, applies herself 110% to the macros. And I will say that yes, while she's making great progress, it is unfortunate that it is slower. And the thing is, it makes me feel bad because if I had other clients working as hard as she is, they would get faster results just because of there being a different body type. So when she's 110% on point, she loses a 1/4 of an inch off of her waist per week. So in order for her to lose just 1 inch off of her waist, it takes her a total of 4 weeks at a time to do so. So I want to put that into context for you guys, for those of you who do have more to lose, to give you guys a realistic time frame of how long it's going to take. You can see that it is coming off of her torso, and you can see that she is still maintaining her hips. Her glutes are lifted, and one thing that has really helped her accelerate her fat loss is we have transitioned all of her cardio. We got rid of all of the HIIT. We have been doing steady state cardio, but specifically running. And I've got her to do some distance running, and she's actually gonna be running her first 5K. The running has just accelerated her fat loss like nothing else, because the thing is, we're looking to lose the thighs, lose the glutes in the situation where most people, you wouldn't want to do running slow, a steady pace as long as she possibly can. She's been doing it for over 3 miles a day, and she's been getting great results. In this transformation photo, this is an example of a pear-shaped endomorph. She has a more medium carb tolerance as opposed to a low carb tolerance. So her body responds quite nicely to a moderate amount of carbs. This is an exception in the endomorph range where she can have carbs, she needs to train and eat accordingly, but she doesn't struggle as much as my endomorphs with low carb tolerance. So as you can see, she did the 6-week shred, but she did it several times. So I believe she did it at least, I think it's 3 times in this transformation, but you can see she maintained her hips, got a smaller waist, still has like nice thick muscular thighs, but has a much lower body fat percentage. And again, this was a little bit easier for her compared to other endomorphs as a pear-shaped endomorph with medium carb tolerance. If it was a lower carb tolerance, I'd probably have her on a higher fat, lower carb protocol, but she did one of the traditional shreds that was non-keto based. Now this next transformation, this was actually one of the winners of our 6-week shred challenge, the New Year's challenge, and this is an apple-shaped endomorph. So in these photos, she actually only lost 8 pounds over the 6 weeks, but you could see a substantial difference in her torso and a huge reduction in visceral body fat. You can definitely see a very big difference in her centrally stored body fat. You can see from the front that although you can tell she's an endomorph, a higher concentration of her excess body fat is in the torso as opposed to the glutes and hips, where some endomorphs tend to be more narrow in the waist, like our previous example. However, the shred is a really great way for endomorphs to jumpstart the program if you just need a place to begin. So this client you can see here is a pear-shaped endomorph, and she began the 2018 new year with a shred, transitioned to flex coaching. She actually started at 200 pounds and was able to get down to a total of 169 pounds. Now you can see that she maintained that pear shape even with the fat loss. Lost more in the waist, but still held on to the hips and glutes. And this is what you could typically expect from a pear-shaped endomorph. Now she did keto, and due to a lower carb tolerance, and it worked fantastic for her body type and her carb tolerance levels. Now this next transformation right here is an example of another pear-shaped endomorph transformation. She actually did one of our shreds, and I believe she was one of the winners of one of the shred programs. So you guys can definitely see that while she did maintain her pear shape, she lost some from the waist, but kept a disproportionate balance of her weight on her hips and thighs while still maintaining an overall healthy look. Now for this client, she actually had more of a moderate carb tolerance, so she did not need to go as low in carbs as some of our other endomorphs to accomplish this physique result. Now this client right here, it was more of an apple-shaped endomorph, and again she did really well on the 6-week shred. She was following a low carb approach and due to a lower carb tolerance for her apple shape, but you can see that even though she did lower her torso, you can see that the glutes and hips are not disproportionately larger than the waist. Although as a result of having a low carb tolerance, there still is a little bit of a struggle, and she will lose body fat at a slightly lower rate than what my mesomorphs would, as well as my ectomorphs, but there is still a substantial change in her visceral body fat concentration in the torso. Now this is an example of a apple-shaped endomorph, low carb tolerance, and you can see that she has been able to successfully transform her apple shape to a healthier, more balanced physique. She still has more of that shape, but was able to lose it substantially by using a lower carb approach to her nutrition due to low carb tolerance for this apple-shaped endomorph. Again, we have another apple-shaped endomorph here. She won one of our shred challenges probably in the last 2 years, and again, as an apple-shaped endomorph with a low carb tolerance, she actually did really well with the ketogenic approach. So you guys, as you guys can see, as an endomorph, you can be a pear shape, you can be an apple shape, you can have low carb tolerance as either, and you can have a medium or moderate carb tolerance for either. So if you are moderate carb tolerance, regardless of whether you're a pear or an apple, it can depend on what style eating approach is best for you. So if you're not sure which way to go, shoot me a DM on Instagram at GAUGEGIRLTRAINING, and I'd be happy to help you select the best program for your needs and goals. If I hope you guys found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.